Every day we get dozens of emails with someone asking, I want to immigrate to Canada. What are my options? The answer to this question can't be given unless we know the complete details and what immigration program you could be most suitable for. For this reason, we are trying to make a series of videos in which we will try to briefly explain the various options available under the Canadian immigration laws. Canada has 3 streams of immigration: family, protected persons, and economic. We will cover these briefly here, and later we will have a dedicated video on each stream. Let's talk about the family stream first. Your relatives can live, study, and work in Canada if they become permanent residents of Canada. You can sponsor certain relatives to come to Canada if you're at least 18 years old and either Canadian citizen or a person registered in Canada as an Indian under the Canadian Indian Act, or a permanent resident of Canada. Under this program, you can sponsor your spouse, partner, or dependent children, sponsor your relatives, sponsor your adopted child, sponsor your parents and grandparents, or visit your children or grandchildren. The second major stream is protected persons or refugees. Refugees are people who have fled their countries because of a well-founded fear of persecution. They are not able to return home. They have seen or experienced many horrors. A refugee is different from an immigrant. An immigrant is a person who chooses to settle permanently in another country. Refugees are forced to flee. Canadian refugee protection programs, or the Canadian refugee system, has 2 main parts: the Refugee and Humanitarian Resettlement Program for people who need protection from outside of Canada, and the In Canada Asylum Program for people making refugee protection claims from within Canada. We will also cover these in another video. The third and the major immigration stream is the economic stream. Economic is the largest and accounts for about 60% of all immigration to Canada. Under this stream comes the express entry and provincial programs. With the CRS score for express entry going over 470 in the recent draws, the provincial program becomes very important for someone who wants to immigrate to Canada but can't get the required CRS score. Within the economic streams, the provinces all have agreements in place to select the immigrants who choose to work and live there. Almost 30% of the economic stream is given to the provinces, so understanding the provincial programs is important, as it may be your route to Canada. Over the years, the provincial programs have changed. With so many streams across Canada, it is not possible to discuss all in detail. But one area that all provinces have moved towards is job attachment, or already being in Canada on a work permit before being eligible to apply. This means that a job offer becomes very important. Sadly, this also means that this has created an entire industry that sees consultants selling job offers for tens of thousands of dollars. If you are ever asked for money for a job, do yourself a favor and find someone else to help you with your immigration application. Anyone that is willing to sell job offers is also willing to break the other laws. This can easily end up with a file that is denied for misrepresentation, which is now a 5-year ban from Canada. There are many resources for finding and writing a resume. Do your own homework and find your own job. Watch out for our next videos in which we will cover each of these topics in detail, and if you have any questions related to immigration to Canada, please feel free to send us an email.